Okay, so you're a Sag Sun, Libra rising, and Pisces moon. But what phase of the moon were you born under? That's the part of the soul path that is invaluable. Steve Forrest explains the 8-phase system he developed in the Book of the Moon. The audiobook is out. You don't need any charts to understand it. It's available on Audible with no subscription necessary or on Apple Books. It truly is one of the most magical days of the year. Hi, everybody. Welcome in to the June Solstice 2024. Obviously, the shortest day of the year if you're below the equator, the longest if you're above. And we are going to celebrate today because there is a big, massive, transformational theme in the air today. Even really to set the proper stage of this, I would walk us back to the year 2020 because there are two big aspects that happened in 2020. It bookended. One was in January, one was in December, that set the tone for where we are in the world today. Aspects come and go. We often forget so quickly. But on January 12th, Saturn and Pluto aligned in the sky in Saturn's home turf of Capricorn. We spent a lot of time tracing that back to 1518, 1284, talking about the massive generational transformations that take place, but also personal transformations. 3 weeks after that date, the World Health Organization declared a worldwide pandemic. Then on December 21st, 2020, on Solstice, Saturn and Jupiter conjoined in the sky. That aspect was in the revolutionary sign of Aquarius, and I'll never forget standing on a dock in St. Augustine, Florida, with my friend Chet and his wife Christina, looking up at those two planets and asking them, what in the world do you have in store for us now? Ray Merriman, who we read his newsletter on Saturdays, talks about that aspect being such a generational 20-year cycle pivot. This one, super significant. I think we could all agree that since then, the world has fundamentally changed. I think it's important that we go back sometimes and just recontextualize where we are. Things are different, times are different, and the sky has shown us the way. Now, here we are 4 years down the road from that. Certainly ahead of us, more societal changes, but more importantly, personal, individual, soul-based changes. We talked about each of these in depth. Neptune on Tuesday, the difference between following our head and following our heart, both necessary. Which one has the driver's seat is the question. We talked about that yesterday. Today in the sky at 2:12 p.m. Eastern, the Sun and Neptune officially square. The Sun is in Gemini. Neptune is in Pisces. Neptune is in its own sign, but is at 29 degrees 53 minutes. But a retrograde will keep it from moving into Aries until March of next year. That just amplifies Neptune's strength here as it's doing this cleanup business before it leaves its own sign for the next about 150 years. So that square is at 2:12 p.m. Eastern, and then solstice itself at 4:50 p.m., the Sun entering Cancer. Now on Monday, Kristen talked about this not being a great week from the lucky stars perspective that we've been following. If you're not in the club, we'd love to have you. We mentioned that. It's the link is right at the top of the funastrology.com webpage. There is one other aspect, and this is where this is painting a more tense picture. No question, no doubt. The moon is at 15 degrees Sagittarius when the solstice takes place, at the exact moment, right in the middle of Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a divided spiritual sign. The mythology of Sagittarius is a centaur, half horse, half man. It's one of the three divided signs in the chart, along with Gemini and Pisces. At the time of the solstice, the moon is in a square, not a direct aspect, but it is about 4 degrees orb, square to Saturn in Pisces, the other very spiritual sign of the zodiac. So two big squares accompanying solstice today. It's what we talked about on Tuesday, the willingness to climb any hurdle in order to gain, let's say, if you could, gain enlightenment. I mean, to really take your spiritual path to its highest point ever is on a platter today. And the moon is supporting that. Sagittarius and Pisces, two divided signs. The moon, our soul. Saturn, our karma. This is such a beautiful picture. It's saying that on this solstice, if you are willing to look at both sides of yourself, your physical self, your spiritual self, and be willing to risk looking at that deeply, Neptune, Pisces, the ruler of the sea, the depths of the ocean, if you're willing to go that deep, probably involves releasing something, healing something, forgiving something, changing a direction. And this isn't like, don't think you've achieved, oh, I don't need to do that. This is saying there is something. That's why two primary squares are saying there's a hurdle. Nobody's onion gets peeled all the way by age 35. There are no trust fund karma babies out there. Everybody has their stuff to deal with. I don't care how far you've come on your journey. Don't have spiritual pride to say, oh, I really don't need to participate in this. No, take on the challenge. The sky is saying it will support you if you're willing to dig deeply enough. Collectively, your family, friends, others who are not on a spiritual path, they might have a little bit of a challenge with this solstice. It's going to be a lot of energy. But if you wanted to really capitalize on it, you might want to look up some of the Celtic traditions that they did at solstice times. I love their connection with the earth, but it's basically just holding yourself in the space of what's there, and this is what's there from the sky. So I wish you the very, very best. It really is a celebration day, and I hope that you get not only the physical benefit of the celebration, but also the spiritual. Sending you all kinds of solstice love today. Have a good one. We'll be back to let's see here. Yeah. See you tomorrow. Bye-bye.